John? Who was John?
And I want you to send a carpenter. A carpenter. Ah, never mind.
Oh, Mr. Carpenter, I wonder where you were. Oh, Mr. Carpenter, I have a big job for you.
Richie, what's that record we used to play on the radio all the time? It sold over 1 million copies. Ella Fitzgerald and the Ink Spots, Into Each Life.
Some Rain Must Fall. Yes, that was a fabulous record.
Well, that applies to what I've got going around in my alleged mind, my reputed mind right now. The fact that, they say that every cloud has a silver lining. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Our good friend John Carpenter, at the peak of his just about to happen fame, the moment when his vision, his dream was about to be shown on the movie screens, the Late to Lunch that he produced, that fantastically funny movie. What happens? He gets hit by a car.
Funniest thing happened to me. Take a little look at me. Yesterday I was so blue, I was bluer than a man should be. But now look at me, I'm singing a song all the livelong day. Here is what happened to me. Hear me cheerfully say, I've got the funniest feeling. It was all just she got me walking up to the one phone and my hat on the side of my head. All of the troubles of the medicine, she's my needle and thread. She's got me walking up to my toes and my hat's on the side of my head.
John was in a very bad car accident. It wasn't really a car accident. A car had hit him very hard. To show you the strength of the person, he survived it. I would tell you that from what I saw and what I heard when I spoke to him, if it had been anybody else but this guy, would have been dead.
And a real, not a little accident, but a semi-critical, semi-devastating situation that might have put the ordinary person into hibernation for the rest of his life.
I was taking care of his father, and his father came to me with this most distressing news that his only son, John, was struck by a car. He and his mom would not leave his side. He was in the intensive care unit on life support. I was actually preparing them for the worst based on what they were telling me.
He was in a coma for several months, going through rehabilitation, learning to walk again, learning to talk again.
John almost assumed the energy from the car that hit him and put that forward into his rehabilitation.
He came to me and he said, I've been in this disastrous accident. George, I can't walk. I got braces on my legs. What am I going to do with this film? And I came out to visit him. And it was kind of a shock to see him the way he was. But I didn't let that show. I was his buddy as always, and we watched the rushes of that film, and it was great. I mean, this was the best thing he had ever done. Because he knows how to make comedy. He knows the timing, he knows the direction, he knows how to put the music to it. It's not just recreating the style.
His inner drive to succeed was really what kept him going, and seeing a project through. This was his pet. This was his big project that he's had going on for quite some time. And getting hit by a car and being laid up for that amount of time was not going to deter him from finishing.
Oh, John.
There's nothing the matter with you. I just spoke to the doctor on the phone. He said all you need is to get out and have a little fun in the sun.
When I first met him, he had braces on his legs. He was using a walker, partially in a wheelchair, but never did he lose his wonderful attitude.
If you've ever seen King Kong, Fay Ray asks Robert Armstrong, you know, oh, where are we going? And Armstrong just goes nuts and goes, it's fame and adventure and a long trip and starts tomorrow. And you can see she's just kind of bowled over in her seat. And John Carpenter is a lot like that. He, except Robert Armstrong is an actor and John is real.
Yeah, John, sit right down.
Oh, thank you.
How are you? I'll have a whiskey.
Up. Cancel that order, garçon.
I'll have a whiskey.
No, you won't have a whiskey. It's bad for your thyroid. Besides, you're a growing boy.
Oh, a little
pick-me-up's not going to be too bad. It'll turn out picking you down as I pick you out of the sewer.
Come on, give me a whiskey.
No whiskey, no drinking for you. The boy will have a Shirley Temple. Whiskey is very bad for you. You shouldn't have those things.
Well, you shouldn't drink either. Give him a Shirley Temple,
No, he's a Shirley Temple. He likes her better than I do.
Oh.
They don't have any Rita Hayworths, do they?
What are you going to have?
I'll have a whiskey.
Hi, I like my sailors big and burly like you two.
Well, we're not sailors. As a matter of fact, up until yesterday, I thought the Andrea Doria was a sports car.
Hampton. Let the girl elaborate. We may be in the market for what she's trying to sell.
Well, maybe she's having a white sale.
No. I doubt it would be white.
John was out of commission for months. I mean, literally, he almost died. And that he was really announcing that he was back. Which I was, yeah.
You and I as a couple, we were so excited to find him that we met with him pretty quickly after that and really wanted to see him regain his full capability to share with the world again his films and his verve for life. And I think he helped us as much as we helped him in a way. If he wanted to work on one of his films, he always had an exciting way of incorporating you. I know, I'll write this great role for you, or I know you can do sets, which I ended up doing mostly for John all the way through college. And he gave me a confidence I never really thought I had.
I first saw John acting in a production of Little Abner, and first scenes I saw in rehearsal was his portrayal of General Lumos.
Before that great stockbroker took him to a great big stock market in the sky.
You know, I've seen high school productions before, and they were pretty substandard, but this kid can act.
Child's dream.
It made me actually want to maybe get into the play too.
This will quiet you.
What is it?
It's your Norman Vincent peel pill.
I don't want any more of those peel pills. They make me think too hot.
Mr. Young's here to see you, sir.
It was very difficult for me to have that first conversation with him because I still have these memories and this image of this wonderful, wonderful human being and vibrant personality, and not knowing what he became. Actually, I was very afraid to see him after that. But knowing John, very determined. The guy's got a lot of guts, and it was wonderful seeing him again. It was a little rough because he was a wonderful hoofer. We used to do a lot of tapping together, and his voice wasn't what I remember it to be, but he's working on it.
Judge.
Yes.
Now let me ask you a question.
Just one.
Oh, just one?
All right, ask a question and a half.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Now I know you're a pal.
There you go.
Not mine, but a pal.
Okay.
Love thy neighbor.
Tell me something. Do you know a guy named John Carpenter?
No. Do you?
No, but when I find him, I'm going to kill him. I want to
You had no string there. You had no string there.
I throw it. I kill him.
The strength that is in his spirit or whatever drives him to do everything he does was also one of the things that I think saved his life.
But it's just wonderful how inspiring it is to see somebody come back the way John has and still be enthusiastic for life, the great spiritual quality.
He came back. He came back. He came back from what they might consider a sad ending. And as you know, the film was seen and celebrated, and it's a lesson to people. There's no such thing as all-time horrible ongoing disability. If you got the will and the motivation, you can see it through. And John Carpenter, as a filmmaker and as a motivator, is a good example of what I'm saying.
He's truly a beacon of light. He is the living example of falling into a bucket of excrement and come out smelling like a rose.
How I fell from the start. You should listen a while to the left of something of the poor old heart. I've got a wonderful picture, one so rosy and red. She's got me walking on the tip of my toes, bags on the side of my head.
Oh, whoa, what a dream. But it wasn't a dream. It was my real life. Now, what was a dream was to get the movie I made shown in an actual movie theater. I made that dream come true.
Wandering through memory lane on WOR. John Carpenter, I read the reviews here at the press. This movie opened, what's it called, Late to Lunch?
Late to Lunch, right. It was part of the Long Island International Film Expo, which it got raving reviews everywhere from the New York Times, the Village Herald.
The whole point is he's making silent movies, and maybe this could be the comeback of... although, in my mind, they never left, right?
And he stars in it. He directed it. He wrote it. I mean, he's Mr. Everything.
A long time the talkies are not going to last.
You're right.
Talkies are only a fad.
How is the box office tonight? We're packing them in, I hope.
I'm here with Debbie Markowitz, who is head of the Nassau County, or director of the Nassau County Film Commission. Yes. And Debbie, were you here for the first release of John's film?
Oh, yes, I was. He had submitted it for entry into the Long Island International Film Expo, which was the first time I had seen it.
You know, I wrote, produced, and directed this film, Late to Lunch, that you're showing.
Really?
Oh, yes. Now, let me go inside and check the house, because once people see John Carpenter walk into the theater, herds will follow.
Was it well received at that time?
It was picked unanimously by the selection committee to be shown, and he had a packed house that night that it showed him.
That's fabulous. And I guess that's why we're showing it again as a re-release for those of you who have not gotten a chance to see it yet.
I always did my own stunts to make people laugh. I never, ever would have believed there was ever going to come a stunt that was going to make so many people cry. And so many people who I never would want to make cry. I figure by now you know who I am. When I was in high school, starting in high school, and from my first stage director in Jamaica High School, Miss Fran Friedman and Mr. Larry Schwartz, I was taught that if you're on stage, if the set decides to fall down around you, what are you going to do? Run off stage crying? No. You deal with it. And I kept that as the story of my life. You deal with it. You take a negative and you turn it into a positive. And that's why I always have come out smelling like a rose. And that's what people from high school through college always said. No matter what John Carpenter got himself into, he always came out smelling like a rose. And that's what I'm trying to show other people who had similar things happen to them, lesser things happen to them, or even worse things happen to them. It's all a mindset. And that confidence that you have in yourself can motivate yourself to go past any obstacle. You could conquer all adversity by just having a laugh in your heart, a smile in your heart. It may be tough. You may have to con yourself to laugh and be happy, but you're succeeding. And that's the strength, the power that you need within you to get over any single obstacle. Having a laugh, a smile, and a song in your heart for yourself and for all the others that you love. Because they don't want to see you like this. You don't want to see yourself like this. It all depends on what you make of yourself.